You know who I think the story that I've always heard, how you got the final approval, was David Icke's wife,
Yeah.
ex-wife at the time, that she was watching with him the tapes, the tests and whatever. And she just like, that's Starbuck.
Yeah.
That's your Starbuck. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard over the years.
I think David told me that as well, that like she was sort of walking by in the background and he was watching these tapes and they'd been looking for Starbuck for a while. And she saw my tape and was like, what are you talking about? That's her right there. So
do you know if you were in the running against anybody in particular that would be of recognition?
Tricia?
No, either of you, I guess.
Grace Park.
Right.
Grace and I tested for Starbuck together. Which Tricia, such a weird show. If you switched our roles. Who did you test against anyone, Tricia?
I don't remember. There was I think 9 of us, 9 women and 8 men or something. I don't remember.
You serious?
I don't remember seeing Ron there or talking to Ron. James, Callis, and I were the last ones cast. Because I had first auditioned, and I know we talked about this before, but just to recap it, I had auditioned January 6th because I was so new at acting. It was like one of my first, I'd been acting for a year, doing a few things, but it was my first kind of like series type thing. And I had tested a little bit the year before, but I remember I was coming back from Christmas and I had been given the miniseries script before and I had taken it home to Canada for Christmas. And it was January 6th. And for Ulrich Dawson Cryer, the casting directors. And it just, well, I heard that it went great, but they're looking for a name because I was nobody, right? And it was 2 months later that I got pulled back in.
Really?
In the beginning of March, and I think, or maybe end of February, beginning of March. And they couldn't find a character. And I don't know if it was at the time they couldn't get the names that they wanted. I don't know who any of them were, who they reached out to. And then they were also saying, well, we don't know if we're going to make this character part CGI or whatever. And, but when I did, so I got called back in for a for a producer session. And I remember David Icke being in the room, but I don't necessarily remember Ron Moore, maybe because he was quiet.
I don't remember Ron being in my auditions either. I remember it being Michael Reimer and David Icke.
Yeah, I remember David Icke. And then I did a work session, and that was Michael Reimer. And then the test. And the test, there was so many people in the room, I don't really remember. And we were there for over half a day and just go in multiple times single. All the women and men, and then they got rid of some of the women and men just in front of everybody else. And then,
the worst.
I know. And then they started pairing us up. And I went in with 2 or 3 different guys, and James being the last one.